Mariner Books and HarperAudio present The Mission, The CIA in the 21st Century by Tim Weiner. Read by Stefan Rudnicki. For Kate, Emma, and Ruby. We must have the greatest immorality, and we must have the greatest morality. Hugh Cunningham, Director of Training, Central Intelligence Agency. Prologue. The Spy and the Scribe. I first set foot inside the Central Intelligence Agency in 1988, a young newspaperman back from a long trip to Afghanistan. I had gone there to report on the CIA's multi-billion-dollar arms shipments to the Afghan guerrillas, whose jihad against the Soviet invaders was the last great battle of the Cold War. Before leaving, I had called up the CIA's spokesman to ask for a briefing, a request flatly denied. Off I went to Afghanistan. I hadn't been back at my desk in Washington for more than a day when the phone rang. How would I like to come in for that briefing now? I had no idea that I was about to discover my life's calling. I made the 7-mile drive out to the woodlands of Langley, Virginia, and walked into the lobby of the CIA's headquarters. To my left, engraved in the wall, was the Gospel of John. And ye shall know the truth, and the truth will make you free. A thought struck me. Was it possible to know the truth about the CIA? Could I cover it, as I had once covered the cops and the courts as a cub reporter? The only way to begin was to talk to its veterans, to listen, and to try to learn how a secret intelligence service operates in an open, democratic society. A few months later, I called up Richard Helms, the CIA's director for 7 years under Presidents Johnson and Nixon, who had fired him for refusing to cover up the Watergate break-in on a spurious claim of national security. A charter member of the CIA at its creation, the chief of its clandestine service during the Cuban Missile Crisis and the early days of the Vietnam War. Helms was elegant as a British banker, an eloquent raconteur, and a man who enjoyed a beer at lunch. Over the course of many an hour, he gave me a master class in the history of the CIA. The mission at the outset in 1947 was to know the enemy. Spies would divine the secrets of the Kremlin, scholarly analysts would assay them, and directors would report to the President of the United States. In the beginning, we knew nothing, Helms told me. Our knowledge of what the other side was up to, their intentions, their capabilities, was nil, or next to it. If you came up with a telephone book or a map of an airfield, that was pretty hot stuff. We were in the dark about a lot of the world. The chances for enlightenment were vanishingly small. Within a year, the mission changed. The Soviets had taken over more than half of Europe. The Pentagon and the State Department ordered the CIA to fight fire with fire and roll back the forces of communism. Knowing the world through espionage took a back seat to changing the world through covert action. Helms saw this as a tragic mistake. By 1950, the CIA had raised a paramilitary army, and it tried for 4 years to penetrate Russia, Poland, Ukraine, China, and North Korea with recruited foreign agents parachuting behind enemy lines. These were suicide missions, their plans purloined by communist spies. They stayed secret for many years, as did the violent right-wing coups and assassination plots against foreign leaders. Helms had kept those secrets. His successors, to the CIA's sorrow, had not. He wanted me to understand that the agency hadn't dreamed up the idea of overthrowing Iran or killing Fidel Castro. Every president since Truman had commanded the CIA to intervene with guns and money to control the fate of nations when sending in the Marines was not an option. Its office
Sample complete. Ready to continue?